Hi friends. If you want to hang out and get ready with me and see me play with the new Colourpop Pretty Guardian Usagi Sailor Moon palette, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name is Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeup, stick your head over to my Instagram. Here are some disclaimers before we begin. Mr. Sun is coming in and out, and the light changing will be quite drastic and varied throughout the video. Secondly, get ready with me's are chatty videos that I will talk about topics other than makeup, perhaps while I am applying makeup. I will of course do my best to present the products that I'm using, maybe touch on some new techniques that I've been dabbling in as of late. But no, this is not a tutorial. I might get into tutorial mode because that's just what I like to do. I like to teach, so I might slip into that accidentally. With that said, why don't we come in a little closer? That's enough. I am so mad at myself, friends. I was doing so well with not squeezing anything, but I had a bit of a weird week where I just could not resist trying to dismantle these little things that are now scabbing. I'm so happy they don't leave behind crazy texture, but they just look like I just look like I broke out of a rash. I do have my Jung from Etude House, their 2x barrier cream, which I featured in my favorites video. That link will be down below if you want to check it out. On top of that, I will go in with my Evie Daily UV Face Mousse in SPF 30. This is a mousse, as I read on the bottle. Ooh, am I running out? No. They recommend a golf ball sized amount, and you smear it all over. I know, it's gonna be so, it's intense, friends. It's intense. This is how much I apply every day. Neck, face, and ears. So, how's your day going so far? Not only your neck, but your chest as well. So, hello, camera, you gotta focus in on what's going on with this sunscreen. Now, the instructions that encourage a wearer to apply sunscreen several times a day is because it runs on the assumption that users aren't applying enough in the first place. I'm sure a lot of us are applying, I used to do this, a pea-sized amount, right? So when you do that, you're actually not getting nearly enough sun protection from said product. So if it's supposed to be SPF 50 and you're only applying a pea-sized amount, you're not going to get that SPF 50 protection broad spectrum. So that's why when the instructions read reapply throughout the day, it's because you haven't applied enough in the first place. But we've applied plenty. And it looks scary, right? It was like, Alicia, I don't know about this, but it just kind of sinks. And yeah, this is an extraordinary product. Innovation behind the formula isn't like anything I've encountered, read about, learned about. Got the Mista, who is also on YouTube, Renee. Shout out to Renee for being the best. I love how she breaks down products because she's so eloquent and articulate in how she presents the information, digestible at the same time, and it really just helps guide your shopping experience in terms of figuring out what products will be for you or not. And when she talks about the Evie, it is so amazing, and it's because of her. Shout out to her when she recommended her Evie sunscreen on one of her best sunscreen videos. Maybe it was 2019, that list. The technology behind the Evie is like once it gets on your skin, it's on there. It's not rubbed off. It can't be washed off, or rather is very waterproof, I believe. And it also has ingredients in here in addition, obviously, to the blocking UVA and UVB rays. There's also antioxidant and all this stuff. It's just like, I love it so much. Yeah, a golf ball size amount is enough for the face and neck, see? And I love this particularly under makeup. I don't know what it is about this formula. It has like, it's not sticky. It's not sticky. It has like a grippy type of texture that I just love to have under my makeup. And I think it's just ideal. And you see it dries down clear, although it looked questionable at the beginning, so that blue violet look it took on initially is not going to come through your makeup, and whatever I have left over, I just rub it on my hands. And yeah, man, this is our starting point. I will drop down the link. It's not an affiliate one, but one of the only websites I found that you're able to buy this overseas will break down all the information, as well as the EV Technology website, if you just want to check out the product page for the SPF 30 mousse. If this is in real time and I want to give time for this sunscreen to dry down and to form a protective film on my skin, this is where I would then start on my brows. And with that, I like to take any type of loose powder. I'm going to take Linda's Infinity Filter Loose Powder. This is in the shade medium. Very lightweight in texture. I grabbed this during her flash 50% off site-wide sale, which I was like so happy you guys told me about it, because I would have missed it. And there were a couple of things that I wanted to pick up. I wanted to get the Spectral palette, which I did a review on, and some of the other stuff she got on there. I actually picked up her poof that I haven't used yet. I don't know why I'm waiting this long. I haven't really dived into that, so I want to get into that. Hello, this loose hair. Ugh. The reason I like to powder down my brows so that the pencil has a little bit more to stick to and it's not so glidey. And then I start with these babies. So how's everyone been? It is March, and man, time waits for nobody. It's kind of crazy how it's just, I don't know this particular time either. It feels like it's faster more so than ever. And I get a little overwhelmed. What am I saying? A lot overwhelmed about all the tasks I still need to accomplish. Number one being my taxes initially. That is the task of the highest priority. So I need to get my expenses together before I see my accountant. Being an independent contractor and taxes, ooh, friends, it gets complicated because everything you do for work is an expense. Everything from your phone bill, travel, food, if you're having a business meeting, all these little parts of your agenda add up, and you have to be super adamant about collecting those receipts so you can properly expense and not pay a whole bunch of money to the government. Anytime I travel and teach, food, money that I spend on food during that trip will also be expense. I'm sorry, my tummy's grumbling. I'm fasting for 24 hours. I don't want that to be triggering to anyone. This is something that I choose to do because I went a little crazy yesterday. My tummy might be grumbling and my mic might pick it up. So I have to make sure I prep my documents for that visit. So that is the next thing coming up. And I want to be better about creating a newsletter monthly. I'm afraid, I want to choose another word, but no, that's the truthful word, afraid to write to everyone once a month, because I'm not sure what I want to include on my newsletter. So I try to look at different newsletters for inspiration and just kind of guidance as to what's the best format to present different information on. And I get a little down because I don't have any workshops to announce. So I then ask myself, well, what are you going to include in this newsletter then, Alicia? And then I figured it'll be helpful, maybe some tips, things that I'm passionate about within the fitness and wellness space that I can share, and just to stay connected to everybody, right? I think that's a great way to do so. And I also want to figure out a way where I could put down my newsletter link down below so you guys can get on it. And then you are so great in providing feedback in terms of what's working better, what's not working so much, because I want to make sure the information is valuable and that when you see something from me in your email box, you're not be like, oh, her again. I want you guys to be excited if I do send something and that it is helpful to you. So that's that. That's what I've been thinking about. And also, I have to spruce up my website. I love Evelyn of the internets. Evelyn is so relatable. but it's just helpful, right? She's just so intelligent and just so, I really appreciate how she approaches her work and how she is vulnerable in saying, guys, I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. And that's exactly how I feel most of the time. And I also love her sponsorships. I think her sponsorships align with her work. They make so much sense. She just is great with design and stuff like that. And her brand presentation, I feel, is phenomenal. So I definitely look to her for a lot of inspiration. And every time I see her website, I'm like, you need to do better, Alicia. You need to improve this website situation. So that is another task I have to take care of. I want to spruce up my website. I want it to be easier to navigate. It show my classes, where I'm teaching. Right now I'm only at Equinox in terms of physical space, but I'm also on the SUPERSHE app. I will drop that link down below. You are able, if you would like, this is not pushing anything. I spoke about this before. If you want, you can most certainly try it out for a month. It is a subscription, and just know that you get a lot of different content from experts, whether it be cooking, whether it be professional help, relationships, sex, anything pertaining to any facet of your life. And as a community member, you are then able to share your own live videos. You could write, if you wanted a platform to share digital journal entries or what have you, if you wanted someone to read them, but maybe you didn't want to put them on Tumblr or whatever, you could put them on SUPERSHE. And then you could interact with everyone in that community. I had to take a moment of silence for that arc because it was going the wrong direction. Soft ochre from MAC's Paint Pot as a prep. What is going on out there? And if you're not sold, you could sign up for the Super Skeptical membership subscription, if I may. You could kind of browse and check out what's in the SUPERSHE app and decide if you want to go full throttle and commit. Now what I do, I teach live sessions half an hour Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they're replayable for a week. So if you can't catch me on the actual live, then you can catch me on the replay. And today I did a half-hour class about mobility versus flexibility. I explained the differences. I explained different exercises, what exercise pertains to whether mobility or flexibility. And yeah, I get a little nerdy when it comes to that type of a thing. And I like to sometimes teach my classes as a workshop, which might not be everyone's favorite because I feel a lot of people just want to do the thing and they want to work out for half an hour. I love to give information, especially in regards to movement. I'm very passionate about it. And I feel there's a lot of misinformation out there in the fitness space. Forget about skincare, makeup. I see both, okay? And with that said, I like to help people understand their bodies better, that maybe they are not finding or improving the way they want because their approach is not for their body or their perspective. They just can't find the right one. And not only that, I actually do I call it bar strong. I'll do half an hour of legs or half an hour of arms. I do perfect your push-up if you're having problems with push-up technique. I'll do half an hour of all hip flexibility and mobility. And people always say to me, I wish your classes were online. And when they are, it's like, where are you? I'm here, I'm teaching on the online. Is always because if you have to pay or if something comes with the price, people are like, oh, well. Listen, my expertise is not for free. And listen, I'm all about sharing information. I share a lot, friends. When people ask me questions, I try to share as much as I can. But when I'm spending half an hour of my day for a specific topic or whatever, I'm presenting a lot of information because this is what I do. I'm a professional at it. Yes, there is compensation involved in some way, and that's not just with me, that's for a lot of people, and they have services that have an invoice. But I understand though if that said person takes my classes in real life, right? So I understand it's not feasible or financially makes sense for them to spend more money on a digital platform when they see me in real life. But then they're like, but when I travel or when I'm moving, I'm like, well, listen, that option is there for you if you want to take it. What are we going to do with this Sailor Moon palette? I actually applied this already. So first of all, the packaging is beyond cute. It has like this magic type of shift. See that? I didn't want to see reviews on it. I saw Shay's review. She loves it. Here's the thing. I agree with her that these shades here have a lot of vibrancy, a lot of brightness. They are actually true to what you see in pan to how you apply them on your lid. Because of that, I feel this palette is like all or neon. You have to fully commit to these looks. You're not going to get a lot of depth and dimension. If you want depth and dimension, you definitely might have to dip out. Like I might have to use the occult shade from Linda's Spectral palette if I want a little more deepness on the outer corner. So we'll play. I have Natasha's Love palette on standby. Yes, I keep the box because I love this box and I don't want to add to waste. So maybe we'll see what we can do from the Love palette, but I'm gonna just a tiny bit closer because I know this is not a full-on review. I usually come in for tighter for a review, but I'm gonna do two different eye looks as well. I already have the MAC paint pot on. So you see, I'm giving the sunscreen time to dry down completely, and that's why I'm going in with the eyes first. Let's take Shining Moon with my Esum W23 and just use that. So this color is actually quite interesting. It shows up pinky beige on me. So it's not like a highlight shade, a traditional highlight shade on my skin tone. You can't see it because the sun is overexposing the color, but it's not like a crazy light beige that actually highlights my brow bone. It just looks like there's a color on my brow bone, if you will. This is what I do when it comes to punchy colors like these, friends. I feel it's best to punch them on first instead of blending them in. And with that said, I'm gonna take my Sonia G Jumbo Blender with Miracle Romance. This actually is an amazing shade. It's matte. Some of the others are a sparkly matte, but I think it has really nice color. Let me pull you in a little closer. I'm sorry. What am I doing? That's a little better. I think that's better. This is a good compromise. I like to punch it in first and then color block it, right? This is what I did with the Spectral palette from Linda. I punched in a lot of colors first, and then from there, I kind of blended. But that color is amazing. I mean, this is, I feel, a tough shade to achieve. For it to look consistent from pan to lid, that's not bad at all. I feel like these brushes are too far, but then this is gonna fall. Oh, I'll just put it right there. You should have just done that before. Now for blending this out, we could see how the yellow works out because I actually didn't use the yellow. This light change is insane to blend something out. So let's go in with Justice. That's quite a bit of kickback because of the matte sparkle formula, but I think it's fairly easy to work with. So we pat that now on the edges of the violet shade, and I think it's quite nice. You have like that sunset type of a feel, yeah. And you could take your favorite blending brush, in this case I'm using the Esum G35, and kind of zhuzh both shades together. Now we could plant down more of the magenta shade, violet magenta. I'm like switching my shade descriptions here. Pull it out a little more, yeah. So both of these colors together, I feel they form a really beautiful gradient, taking a little bit of the yellow just to further blend. And again, this is all about building. You gotta build from the ground up and get the color saturation you are looking for. Now we could do several things. For this part of the lid, we could go in with one of these neon colors if you want to see one of them in action. Let's take Tuxedo Rose. I still am a huge Sailor Moon fan. I remember watching Sailor Moon every time I came in home after school. This is a gorgeous color, by the way. And I would just wait. I couldn't wait until the next day when each episode finished. I miss those days, man. Everything is so now immediate, like instant gratification, right? Like all the Netflix episodes are there at your disposal. Of course, until you finish the season in one sitting, and now you have to wait a year and a half or two. I feel when you have to wait a day for each episode, it just, I don't know, it just gets you excited. That's what I did with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I forgot what weeknight that came on. I could not wait until the next day. I was at the edge of my seat. In that case, the edge of my bed watching. And I was like, what is she going to do? What is Angel gonna do? I think that's pretty. But the thing is, you gotta be aggressive with it. You can't just tiptoe, you know what I mean? Hold on. I gotta get the spectral palette, hold on. Dipping into Linda's spectral palette. I just wanna see if we added a cult to the outer corner, what that will do. So let's take a cult. I'm taking a smaller packed brush. This is my Esum W21, and just place it right there on the outer part of the V. And I'm lifting my brows so I could see where I'm blending. Oh, I like that. That added a little bit more depth. Okay, good to know. I'm taking my S33 from Esum with that same occult color and discovering what it will do if I buffed it in like so. I think that's nice. We could clean this up a little bit, but I feel this is what I was missing. I was missing a deeper shade in this palette just to add a little bit of contrast. If we wanted to bring back the original shade, we could always go back in with our jumbo blender and add more of that magenta shade, more on the center, right, over occult, so it could appear brighter. I think that's a really pretty combination, friends. Can you please keep track of your brushes? Can you please just be more organized? All right, so that's what we're dealing with on this eye, at least for the lid. I kind of want to put something in, hold on, like here. I want a little moment there. I believe we have like two Super Shock textures in here. I feel Silver Crystal is a Super Shock, which is like their moussey cream powder formula, as well as Silver Millennium. These are a little tricky. I'm taking a Hakuhodo brush. I don't think I'm going to be very successful with this, but I'm going to pop that like on the inner part of the eye. It's more of like a veil of sparkle. So I don't know if you see that. I'm making it just so that it's layering over the other matte shades and creating like that little bit of a shine, kind of a sitch, but you see there's a little more light there. Okay. I wanted to get the blushes too, friends, but let me tell you, when I was trying to get this stupid palette, I was sitting on my little roller in Grand Central, okay? Colourpop site, first of all, they did not upload the Sailor Moon stuff when they said. I was trying to go from the Trend Mood link. That wasn't working either. And when I was trying to check out, everything was slow. And then I was like on a line. And by the time I got to checkout, some of the items were already sold out. The blushes, I really wanted those blushes, friends. But hopefully this collection will restock. Everything sold out. Everything sold out so freaking fast. It was kind of insane. I'm just putting down more yellow here. I feel like I need a little more yellow. Has the overall consensus been that people are underwhelmed by this? I didn't watch a lot of reviews on it. I like it. I like this palette. Let me see here. We'll try now Love. I kind of want to see how that does as like a blend shade. So when we blend it in initially, right, we're not going to get like a whole lot. I think it's still actually a beautiful shade. But if we were to punch it in, so if we were to go in with our jumbo blender again, you get a lot more color richness initially, right? So if you want this from the get-go, then I would skip the blending, punch it in first, then you take the same color to further blur the edges when you're dealing with shades like these, I feel, and even textures, I feel. I think that's quite nice, don't you think? Now, these other shades in here, like Twilight Flash and this shade here, they're very light. I don't know how much use they have, but we could try this shade maybe to blend out the pink. So I'm taking Moon Castle right on the edges here. That works. It's a very, very, like a pastel mauve. I definitely want to add in more of the Love shade. I'm gonna dab that more so it could really pop. Of course, the sparkles you can see, I'm sure if you shine like a flashlight or even here, it's hard to see on camera, but I do see the twinkle for sure. And because of that texture, you have a lot of kickback in the pan. So just be careful with how you punch your brush in. I want to go, okay. I want to see if we could get a little more depth. I'm hopping into Natasha's Love and I want to go in with Heartbeat. I want to see what that can do in terms of adding a little bit of depth here. Sonaji, work with 3. I'm going to punch that on the outer part here. Oh yeah, we got a little something. Thing that added really nice dimension. Now, do you need the Natasha Denona Love palette to make the Sailor Moon palette work? Absolutely not. I think if you were to just exclusively use this pink shade, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I feel you have to take it out. I feel if you're conservative with it, then it will look a little like, oh, is that pink eyeshadow on your lid? Like, really wear it, friends. If you're gonna wear this shade from this palette that doesn't have a mirror, excuse me, then like blow it up, take it out, like out past the lash line and really make it work. But that's nice, I like that. All right. What do we want to do? Actually, I want to put in the yellow as like a standout inner lid shade so you guys can see that actually this is a killer yellow. Justice is nice. I'm gonna put that on the inner part of the lid as my standout inner lid shade. Definitely packing on is best, I feel. And then tapping it in towards the pink so it could look seamless and beautiful. You know what I want to do? So there are a lot of shades that we still haven't used. Mare Serenitatis, I think that's a spell that she did, like a magic power. I'm such a bad fan right now. We can do this on the inner corner, but I kind of want to do Luna on the inner corner. I know we put Justice there, but I kind of just want to experiment and see what would happen if I placed it more on the inner. Yeah, that works. That's fun. I like that a lot. We'll go back in with Justice to reapply some of that yellow. I'll actually take the same brush and tap it and bring it a little higher too. Why not? So don't take this as, oh my gosh, I need all 3 palettes for this eye look to work. I have all 3. I want to use my makeup, so I'm going to combine a lot of things, okay? So we got the lid done. What are we going to do for, you know what? I think it's complexion time. Let's get into this complexion. But let me go to the bathroom first because I had a lot of tea. And now I need to pee. All right, this complexion, we gotta cover up these spots. As you know, I've been using my Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection concealer nonstop. I've been using it all over my face. I've been using the spot. I've been using it for everything. And we're definitely gonna take on some of these suckers. I actually have been, recently, I was applying this with my 4N. This is 3N, but I brought this over to Maddie's house. I've been combining both on the back of my hand and stippling it in, and it's been working beautifully. I'm going to take some of M16 on the back of my hand with her new Shine Duo Skin Fetish Tra-la-la-la-la-la brushes and start going on the portions that need some all the coverage, and not only the standout blemishes but as well as around my nose where there's a lot of redness. So it's not too bad when we cover everything, but if only I could just leave my face alone. Just leave it alone, Alicia. Why do you have to investigate and see if you could squeeze it? Like, it's not worth it. It is not worth it ever. So not to worry about it looking color blocked, because I go in with my foundation and it all melts together. But just gonna get those buggers covered up. So definitely by the end of the week, these will scab off and they'll be a lot flatter. Although they'll still be red, the coverage will be better because obviously you see that there's still texture present because they're still healing. All right, so we covered most of the blemishes. So with that, I'm gonna take my favorite good old cocktail, my Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing in 360 Citrine with Pat's Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation in M16. I'll just do a little bit, like just the little like that, maybe a little more. I'll take a little more of the Shiseido, maybe like that. And that's the concoction that I will use all over the face. I have been using Pat's bigger, I don't know if she doesn't call this a foundation brush because she has another foundation brush that she sells, but I love this for foundation. Now I know it's a smaller brush than most, but I just love how it pushes the product into the skin. And I love the curved brush head. I feel it's so pretty and just makes it so easy to blend. And notice, because of the sunscreen, right, I'm not sweeping or buffing in circular motions. Hello, why are you not focusing on me? Because I don't want to dismantle the film the sunscreen formed. So I'm being very careful with how I apply this foundation with the brush. Now you could also use a sponge. I actually have a few new sponges that I meant to try. I just didn't bring them over. Sorry. And I take my time, friends. I really make sure that all the product is pushed, especially around my brows, because a lot of product can gather there and look heavy. I like pull down my nose so I could get around those nostrils and around the temple as well. And this is something we can all do. Of course, make sure your hands are clean and just use your fingers to press in any remaining makeup that might sit on top of your skin. And again, I just love this sunscreen as prep for makeup. I think it has such a beautiful grip without being greasy or heavy on the skin. And although we still have these blemishes, there's still texture present. It doesn't look as bad. I just have to keep telling myself it's going to be better by Saturday. Now for under the eyes, I'm going to go in with my Dior. I think the general consensus is that Dior is better for a lot of different skin types. So guess who was in New York? Michelle Wong. First of all, I just freaking love Michelle so much. She is like the long lost friend that I wish I had earlier in life. And although we have totally different skin types, she loves the Dior as well, right? I think it's just so versatile in terms of how many skin types it can work well on. I don't know much about the color matching, right? I feel Pat could run a little yellow, but the Dior has really nice neutral shades in here. So I just plopped on 3N for my under eyes. What I do want to experiment with is if I put a little bit of the Pat on the innermost part of my eye, but we'll see. The Dior just melts. I love it so much. And Michelle and I were saying, like, we weren't really expecting a lot from the Dior. We know they have beautiful products, but when it comes to complexion, we weren't really blown away. And especially her, because she reviews a lot more luxury products than I do, so she would know, okay? And for her to also say the same thing, and that we were totally like, what? I had the same reaction when I was in the Dior store and I tried these on for the first time. I had to like reevaluate my initial response. Like, is it me or is it really, this is a good concealer? And the associate was like, I was surprised too. we all have our expectations, and it's so nice when they are totally blown out of the water, right? Blown out of the water. This is such a beautiful texture. I love it so much. It's just lightweight. It covers my circles beautifully. If I wanted, I could pop on just a little bit of pats. I'm talking about a dot worth, LM13 on the innermost part of the eye. I'm going like that. That's it. That's all we need. This concealer goes a long way. With that application, I'm going in with her smaller concealer brush. I'm going to give that a little rub and just pat that. I'm going to pat the pat right on the inner corner of the eye. So perhaps we can get the brightness and a little bit of the staying power I think Pat has over the Dior. But again, you know, probably you don't need the Dior to be a million hour wear, because that's not your day, right? So you just need it to stay on enough for what your day is gonna be like, and that is totally understandable. Beautiful. Now let's get into these powders, man. Ooh. Oh. These powders are rude. Let me go in with my Sonergy Designer Pro. I'm gonna tap the light shade right on both concealers. I mean, blurring. It's kind of insane how lightweight this powder is, but the effect is immediate and just phenomenal. It's really outstanding. I still can't get over the performance of this powder. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Good. Before I roll into the lower lash line, I wanted to showcase Alimar Cosmetics. I actually should have included these palettes in my February favorites, but I was getting a little overwhelmed because that video would have been like 2 hours long because I'm a chatterbox. I got the bronzer, the Brighten and Bronze palette in medium tan. These are really beautiful powders. They are so finely milled, and I feel they're just easy to use. They're soft, and I love the fact that you have a spectrum of shades that create dimension, right? So you have your bronze shade that adds that warmth, but you have a little deeper of a shade that creates a little more sculpt, and then you have the lighter shade that adds that highlight, that matte highlight, to further add to the overall dimension building on your face when it comes to using these shades. So what I've been doing, I haven't been setting my foundation and concealer because I go in with a really soft brush. This is my Tuckahoe T4. It is so silky. Let me go in with Always Summer, the deepener shade from the palette. I'm just gonna run it lightly on the hollows of the cheeks, and just look how beautifully that blends, and again, on unset concealer and foundation. But that's why it's so important for the brush to be soft, because it's going to apply the powders beautifully, but it's not gonna move the makeup. And I feel this actually lends more of a skin-like finish and result when you apply it straight on your foundation. So pretty. And this brush head is perfect for the hollows of the cheeks. I mean, it just gets right in there. I'm gonna cut down across the jaw. Let's go in with the oldie, but still a goodie, the Sonergy Face Pro. Going in with Soltera, the middle bronze shade, and that's gonna be like more of our all over bronze color layered all over the deeper bronze shade. There's a little bit more warmth. These side hairs, I am so sorry. I thought I glued them down, but you obviously didn't, Alicia. If you want to see, I'm gonna use my Sonergy Soft Cheek from her Sky Face set, and this is the I'm Woke Brightener. And just to add a little bit of that, like here on the greater eye, under eye area, I should say. And that really, I think this is a great shade to include, because if you need to buff down any over bronzing that might have happened, then you can do that seamlessly. See how that kind of just like brought it in a little bit. Now with the Alimar Cosmetics blush trio, I had wanted this for a very long time, and I finally took the plunge, but I had to get the fair light because they ran out of the medium tan. I still want to get the deep one. I'm curious to see how those shades will work. What I do is I'll just take all three with my Tuckahoe Z8 cheek brush. I run it across all the pants. I'm gonna tap some off and just punch it on. And I can be a little more aggressive with these shades because since they were intended for fair light skin tones, I don't have to worry about applying too much. But I feel this is a great spring-like feel and look, but I want to get the deep one because I feel like I could sculpt with the deep one with the blush shades. Well, that's looking pretty. Yes. I'll figure out my highlight situation. I want to finish these, the lower lash line. Hello, Usagi, where'd you go? So what do I want to do? You know what? Let me stick to the same color. I'm going to go with Miracle Romance and just apply that on the lower lash line here with my Sonergy Classic Crease. Oh, my tummy. And to be consistent, let's go back in with Occult. I'm taking Sonergy's Pencil Pro on the outer part of that lower lash line application. And I want this to appear a little more seamless. Where did my freaking, I just put it in here. I do this all the freaking time. I put down a brush and I don't know. There it is right in front of me. I'm just going back and forth between the two purples so it could look a little more blended. Now I want to go in, well, do I? I don't know. Let's go in with Full Moon. I think this is a beautiful shade. It's like there's a green flip to it. I want that to be my lower inner corner moment. But do I want to spritz? I don't think I can because I forgot to bring my thing with me. So let's take a small pencil brush and pop that right. Oh, hold on. There was too much on the brush, so it became a little crumbly. But see that? Isn't that so pretty? Silver Millennium with the same brush. We apply that here, but I want that to be now the actual inner corner shade. Oh, no, we didn't. We did the other shade, I thought. Silver Crystal we applied here. My bad. I like what's going on. This is turning out good. I think I want to use Tuxedo Rose, maybe? Because I want to use that Sparkly Arcly shade. Let's go in with Tuxedo Rose under this lash. So that means we got to go back into Heartbeat from Love and add a little bit of depth here on the lower outer part of the lash line. And then Tuxedo Rose just kind of blows out down and around that application. So it could look a little hazy. Amazing. Okay, let's do this shade, the glitter shade. This one's a little tricky. I think it already kind of got hard pan on me. So it was really tough to choose the right brush for this. Taking my Wayne Goss number 5 brush from his anniversary 2 set and trying to get as much as I can on here because I might actually have to use, yeah, forget it. I have to use a finger. No, nail. Oh no. I applied it like not on the actual lash line, but on everything else. Okay, hold on. Let me take my Esum S31 brush and kind of fix that. I'm pulling it right under and I'm trying to make that a little more concentrated right under the lash line and not on my under eye. This is glitter, so proceed with caution. Know that you are taking a risk anytime you apply glitter on around the eye. It's not bad. It's not initially what I wanted it to look like, but we're gonna make it happen. It's fine. I'm going back and forth to bump up the intensity of the glitter so that we could fully commit to a crying glitter look now, since that's what it turned into. All right, friends, let me apply some mascara and I'll be right back. All right, mascara's on. If you're wondering what's happening with the rest of the cheek products, Alicia, well, let's apply first the highlighter of choice. I actually have my Natasha Denona Super Glow that I picked up during her Black Friday event. Black Friday Nightmare event. In light medium 02. Taking my Sonergy Bam Pro and just tapping that. Oh, I forgot this highlighter has some nice brightness to it. Right on the cheekbones. So I like to go in with my cheek products right on top of my foundation because I'll take Pat's medium powder and use that to buff everything down. And it is like the best combination ever. All right, you know what brush I'm gonna use. The Tuckahoe P8 with Pat's pressed powder in medium. Just get it on there, baby. Just get it on there. And here we go. We're gonna whip it. So this is gonna set, I feel, at the same time, buff everything in. The softness of the bristles paired with the lightweight texture of Pat's powder is just, I mean, I'm undeserving of this pairing. And it sets it just enough, but not too much. Doesn't look dry at all. And it's just like, oh my goodness me. And to finish everything, I know because this video is 1,000 years long, going with my Mel Thompson and Christian Odette lip liner in Smooches per Kelsey Brianna J. And then going in with the Gucci satin lipstick in Penny Beige. And that, my friends, is our finished look. And quick final thoughts about the Sailor Moon palette. What can I say? I like it. I think it's fun. I don't know much about the discourse in regards to if the color story did Sailor Moon justice, if other colors should have been chosen for this palette. I think it's a great spring palette, actually. Where did I put it? For Christ. I think it's a great spring palette. I mean, you have a lot of textures in here. You got the glitter shade in here. And I'm actually quite impressed with these shades. I feel they show true to color on the lid. I do recommend that you pack them on, however, so you could get that full color richness on the get-go. I really enjoyed this yellow. I think the yellow is great as an inner corner moment, or like all over the lid, or even to buff out the purple, as it creates that beautiful sunset gradient. And the other Super Shock shimmers in here, you just have to find a place for them in your eye routine. I think you have to press them in, but they have really beautiful brightness to them and sparkle, and I feel great on a low makeup day if you just wanted to use those shades. For instance, go in with Silver Crystal or Silver Millennium, just pat that shade on the lid and be done. And then you can use the lighter crease shades to just soften up the eye or just give a little more dimension to the crease without devoting to these brighter colors. So I actually think this is well curated. You just have to navigate it and have a plan in mind. I feel I didn't go in with this sparkly shade all over the lid, but I can only imagine how beautiful it will be. I'm particularly more of a fan for glitter textures to be under my lash line because I just like that effect better than how it appears all over my lid. That's just a personal preference. However, I really enjoy the Alameda Cosmetics Trio face products. I think these are great finds. I love the packaging. I love the slim design. I just feel they're easy to use. They have beautiful colors in them, so definitely worth checking out. I believe the Fair Light and Medium Tan blush trios are sold out. I am constantly checking the website to see when they will be restocked because I'll be getting them, as well as the Deep Blush Trio. I have my eye on that as well. I have been loving my complexion routine. These concealers are otherworldly. I just love them together. Pat's pressed powder. I mean, so easy to use. And of course, my Japanese brushes. No words. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another tutorial, review, get ready with me, or favorites list. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, was this lighting better? I'm sorry. Goodbye!